Joe talks about Joe. And now, your host, Joe Slepsky.
Hello again, everybody. This is Joe Slepsky, and you're listening to Joe on Joe Illustrated. And this is the only podcast where I go over every episode of G.I. Joe Real American Hero and every comic book, unfortunately, in sequential order, page by page, panel by panel. And I say unfortunately because that's right, guys. Last week, Snake Eyes Deadgame number 4 came out. Subtitled, Isn't This Over Yet? Yeah, guys, it's time for another Deadgame review. I'm finding it harder and harder to be positive on this much anticipated series, but I'm going to do my darndest. As always, you know, we like to, normally on Illustrated, I like to talk about the comics that are on the shelves the week that it's released. But guess what? This is on the shelf this week. So go to your local comic shop and find out for yourself. Teach you how to fish, comic book reader. Before we get started, why don't you guys listen to a little promo for our sponsor of the show, Movies and a Meal podcast.
Listeners, I know what you need in your life. You need more podcasts. And you also love movies. So why not do a podcast that's about not one movie? It's about not 2 movies. It's about 3 movies and a meal. I'm talking the Movies and a Meal podcast. This show is great. It's brought to you by Keith, Brad, and Ben. And each week they bring a new movie to the table, which they all discuss as a group. And it's not, your highfalutin movies. It's What We Do in the Shadows, The Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and Out of Sight. It's Bad Education, Ghost Rider, and A View to a Kill. It's X-Men Last Stand, Queen Sugar, The Mandalorian, and Major League 2. They are a lot of fun to listen to. You guys know Ben. It's our friend Ben Pensarga. He was a guest on Joe and Joe. In fact, Ben was the very first remote guest that I ever had on this podcast, so he's always got a special place in my heart. I'm really digging this. I just started listening to it last week. It is a lot of fun. They bring a guest in. The guest, I listened to their Heathers episode. They were joined by Kelly, and she went in depth on her favorite movie, which was Heathers, and it made me want to go watch Heathers to watch with them. I really dig it. So guys, find them out there at Movies and a Meal, Twitter, Instagram. Their website is moviesandameal.podbean.com. They put out 1 episode a week. Give them a listen, guys. Support them. Let them know Joe on Joe sent you. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. It is quite entertaining. And now back to the show.
Give them a listen. Now, Snake Eyes Deadgame, number 4. The book I'm holding has cover A. It's got Snake Eyes looking all ragged. He's got a bunch of arrows in his back. That's got to hurt. He's carrying what might be an Uzi in one world. It might be a handgun in another world. It might be a sawed-off shotgun. The grip doesn't extend past his hand. There's not a lot about it that's looks like any kind of gun ever. So there's that. He's also carrying Thor's hammer. Okay. And I know that's in the book. I get it. So we're not gonna hate on the concept, but he is carrying Thor's hammer at a weird angle. And I'm not talking about the angle of the hammer itself. I'm talking about the way his hand is gripped around that hammer. Once again, not actually holding it in the right angle as we usually see in these pages. Other than that, the colors look great. And I'll say it again, guys, the colors save this book. They save it. So as we go on, hold on.
Yo, Joe!
We start digging into the book stories. Story, Pencils and Inks by Rob Liefeld. Script and dialogue by Chad Bowers. Another thing that's a saving grace of this book. Without the dialogue in this, none of us would have any idea what's going on. Special thanks for inking assistance to Chance Wolfe and Adelso Corona. Letters by And World Design. Colors by Federico Blee. Federico, you're the unsung hero of this book. Design by Neil Uyataki. Edited by John Barber and assistant edits by Megan Brown. And let's take a quick peek at some of the alternate covers for this. There's a black and white of the same cover. There is a cover B that, just very similar pose, Snake Eyes just kind of posing at the camera. Now this Unknown Comics exclusive cover, this is interesting. This has some Scarlet action in it. I like that a lot. I like that cover quite a bit. That's a good looking cover, guys. Seek that one out. That is well worth your time. It's by Cal New. And it's actually real pretty. There's two variants. One has, well, I guess actually, well, you know what? It looks like just two same drawings, but manipulated in Photoshop to have Snake Eyes in the forefront on one, Scarlet in the forefront on the other. Either one, I like a lot. They're pretty good looking covers, so check those out. Pick them up if you can. Now,
Yo, Joe!
page 1. If you guys remember last time we left off, Snake Eyes, he had gotten that blade. Kurgan had stolen it, taken it from him, and then like the old Joe team, the 60s G.I. Joe squad, the adventure team, they showed up, obviously completely out of nowhere, because everything in this book is completely out of nowhere. Storm Shadow and Scarlet were there to help Snake Eyes. And so it was like, oh, okay, the adventure team's going to help. Snake Eyes going to, just kind of like how in the first issue, if you remember, there were more than, it was like Snake Eyes did a solo mission, but then it really wasn't a solo mission. But then, oh no, there was, who was it? Was it Tripwire or Torpedo? I think it was Tripwire, if I recall. And Roadblock was there, and they rescued Joe Colton and Scarlet and everything. And they're like, okay, we're going to go on this mission, Snake Eyes. And then the next issue, they weren't anywhere to be seen. Exactly the same thing happens here, guys. So we ended up with, great, Snake Eyes is going to team up with all these oldies. And the first thing we get is this glamour shot of Snake Eyes in an all-white costume. I'm here for the all-white costume variant. I think that's cool. I think costume variants are awesome, so I'm not going to bitch about that. That's kind of neat. But I don't know what he's doing. It's a glamour pose that's drawn just to show him standing in some kind of doorway. It's got really, really bad cropping by the feet. Like they almost crop right at the ankle. Like it's either... Anyway, I don't know what he's doing, but he looks like he's making a come on to the reader. That's what it looks like to me. Like standing in doorway, like, look at me, how handsome I am. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing. And then there's a narrator kind of filling us in. The narration in this book and the heavy lifting of the dialogue in this book is the only thing that allows any of us to understand what the story is. There is zero story being told via the pictures, which is a difficult statement to make about a comic book. And then we have an insert of the fight with Kurgan. So now we go back to the last issue that ended up, apparently on a cliffhanger.
Yo, Joe!
And we see Mike Power, Atomic Man, which is, I said it before. I believe I said this. I'm all for including the adventure team and, getting the old, all the history of G.I. Joe in here. That's cool. I like that conceptually. I'm here for that. So we see what the results of that. So Atomic Man kind of jumps into the fray with Snake Eyes, who he had previously been fighting Kurgan, and he takes the fight to him. And, it's a Liefeld punch scene. So, everyone's very stiff in it, but they're still fighting.
Yo, Joe!
It's kind of a 2-page spread, but I still feel we're moving to the next page. So I got to hit the Yo Joe there. And we see Snake Eyes continues his fight with Kurgan's daughter. I always forget her name. And, he's just doing a lot of, there's punching, and Bullet Man gets involved. And they're all like, this is good. This is really good. I like this. I like seeing these guys team up to take him down. It makes sense that it would take multiple people because, Snake Eyes tried solo, and then Snake Eyes and Scarlet tried solo, and no one could. So yeah, you bring in a bunch of dudes, one of them kind of super powered, whatever the Bullet guys, I don't know if he's super powered or he's just wearing a jetpack. I'm not sure exactly what the deal is here, but that's fine. It's not his story. I'm okay with that. And, Joe Colton's there, get it together, adventure team. I think that's Joe Colton. And he's firing some kind of massive cable looking gun that doesn't look like any real gun.
Yo, Joe!
Which, of course, Kirigan blocks with his sword. Your paltry weapons are nothing against the dead sword. Of course they are. And with it in my possession, I am whole once more. So now he's more powerful, guys. He is now more powerful than ever before. She says, Father, forget yourself. Olympia, that's her name. So he has to, he has to repay his debt to the death goddess, Izanami. After 1,000 years, he calls her out. Do you hear him? And then he is teleported, presumably by the, by the death goddess, somewhere. So he flees the fight. And we get a shot of the Joe team, Snake Eyes, and the oldies. Like, where did he go? Like, they have no idea where he went. And then the next thing we have is I think this is an airplane that is flying over some kind of snow-capped, snowy peaks. And Snake Eyes is walking in the snow away from that airplane as it flies away. So I'm assuming he parachuted now. There's no sign of a parachute. Also, the reason I say I think this is an airplane is that there's no, I guess, tail fins. I guess there's a fin, but there's no wings. What are the horizontal wings that are on the back of, let me think, every single airplane that I've ever seen drawn is like C-130 kind of airplane. This one doesn't have it. It's like if you were told to draw an airplane for a game of Pictionary, except this isn't Pictionary. This is a professionally made comic book.
Yo, Joe!
So now we get another just close up, or like body shot of Snake Eyes walking somewhere. Throughout this book, there are multiple images of Snake Eyes. This is absolutely one of them. That first page is another one where the top of his torso was drawn separately from the bottom of his torso. Because if you really take a look at what's going on with Snake Eyes' body, he has some serious lower GI issues. I don't know what's happening on his waist and the way his legs sit. It is awkward to be kind, jarring to be real. But we're getting we're getting some narration that actually tells us what's happening here. And we see that Snake Eyes is he's going on a journey to one of the coldest places on Earth. We're in Izmiti, Greenland. I love that we're getting where the location is instead of parts unknown for no reason. So good for them. We appreciate that. He seems to be in his white snow outfit again, although it's more gray now. So again, colors are shifting, but saving this book. And as he's there, these dudes pop up out of the snow like they've been waiting this whole time. From behind, I thought these were Fatal Fluffies, and I was gonna be very excited to see that they were using Fatal Fluffies as guardians for this thing.
Yo, Joe!
And unfortunately, I don't know what they are because we never really get a good look at them. They're only ever drawn kind of from behind, from a distance. I don't know what these are. I guess they're ninjas. I don't know. They have swords. Swords mean ninja to me. They say we were like you once. They were soldiers, brothers, assassins. The snow took all of them. So are they like White Walkers? They fell in the snow. They were all going there to Snake Eyes is going to get that Thor's hammer, which is the enemy of the Deadgame sword. All but the Grave Master, he alone escaped the ice. How can you defeat Kirigan when you are only a man? Okay, so he's got to fight basically Snake Eyes has to fight all the dead soldiers that have come before him. Why they're fighting him, I don't know. They don't seem to like Kirigan, so why are they fighting Snake Eyes? It's not answered. It's just an excuse to draw pictures of Snake Eyes doing various ninja things. It's issue 4 of Snake Eyes doing various ninja things. What can I say?
Yo, Joe!
Narration kind of drives that home. Are they flesh and blood? Are they visions brought on the rapid drop in temperature? It doesn't really matter. All they are is they're in his way. So this actually could be in Snake Eyes' head, So that's, I like that idea. This page is just a series. If you look at this page without any coloring on it, you can see that there are 3 basically 3 quick sketches of Snake Eyes fighting some people that have no bearing to anything else. Okay. I mean, okay.
Yo, Joe!
If I sound defeated by this, guys, I need you to know I did 2 seasons of G.I. Joe Extreme, and I never got this defeated. I don't know why this book is depressing me so much. I think it's because every single issue is the same thing. It is Snake Eyes in a bunch of poses, finding a bunch of no-names, doing nothing. And then inevitably someone exciting shows up and then they disappear the next issue. So, having said that, just like we got here on this page, the top caption says, so many setbacks, too many moves wasted. So it's like 4 issues wasted. These ninjas or whatever they are, the zombie ninjas or whatever they do him no good because now his Snake Eyes is shooting them. Again, it's the case, as multiple cases, of missing swords. He goes from having 2 swords to 1 sword. 2 swords to 1 sword. Now he's got 1 sword and a gun. Now he's, there's no consistency and there's no storytelling. What this used to be called, a book like this without the dialogue, used to be called an ash can. It used to be called an ash can tryout book that someone would put together and say, look at what I can do. Or hey, fans, here's a new Snake Eyes series coming up. This is free. And these are the kind of fights you're going to see. Not, here's the finished product and there's an incoherent story.
Yo, Joe!
So apparently in the afterlife, these zombies have learned the art of snaps and taunting. What has life ever done for you but take. Now, I like the idea that this is in his head because then this is his internal monologue. So I'm actually okay with this because it talks about him lying to himself. So he could be answering the same question of himself. So in that light, I enjoy it. And I'm going to give credit for that to Chad Bowers. That I'm going to give credit to him because I do like the idea that if this is all in his head, it's Snake Eyes struggling with his internal monologue and we're still not, and it still keeps us a distance away from being in Snake Eyes' head, which is something we've, I think, rarely ever done. I think maybe once or twice a book has actually given you Snake Eyes' thoughts, which is a conceit that I like that they don't. So that's cool. I don't know that that was the original intent here, but I like the result of it. This page isn't terrible. It's got some good fight moves. Snake Eyes is effective. Although, God damn it. I mean, pardon my French. So, first panel, 2 swords, great, cool. He's fighting a dude behind him in front of him. Second panel, 2 swords, great, cool. Dispatches one guy, makes him move to the other guy. Third panel, where's his left hand? Where's that sword? Where does it go? And the hilt on his right hand sword, why is that so uneven? Or is that the sword that's missing? And for real, look, guys, I just can't. Not today, Satan. And then, bottom panel, fun close-up. I like it. And it looks like he's got 2 swords again. This is what he's best at. After all, that's kind of a Wolverine nod. I appreciate that. Very nice.
Yo, Joe!
This might be the episode that breaks me. I think because I was so excited to be like, all right, the old Joe Adventure team, that's fun. Oh, nope. Another just Snake Eyes randomly fighting randos with no physical continuity to any of the battles. Therefore, none of it means anything. Yeah, that's okay. That is what it is. Oh, no. Has he had his clothes ripped off yet again? Because he gets his clothes ripped off one more time. Oh, no, that's coming up. We're not there yet. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Yeah, so it's just more Snake Eyes posing and fighting. And this time, on this page, you got 3 panels of Snake Eyes doing stuff, and only in one fifth of the top panel is there a bad guy. The other ones are just Snake Eyes drawing, posing. There's no actual bad guys that he's cutting, or it's like, so you don't see the effects of it. You just see like him hugging himself. So there you go.
Yo, Joe!
And more panels of Snake Eyes not fighting anyone, even though there's a hand in the top one. So last two pages have had 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll say 6, because the bottom one, he's still fighting someone. 6 panels of Snake Eyes fighting people. And if you count the guy's forearm in this panel and add that to the missing forearm in the first panel on the previous page, you have 6 panels of Snake Eyes fighting people with only one guy drawn that he's actually fighting. Congratulations. I don't know what to say to any of this. He's just fighting and cutting. I'm not even counting any of this on his kill count, by the way.
Yo, Joe!
My dog's barking. And you know what? I can't blame her. She's as upset about this as I am. Now we get Snake Eyes gets to fight a big bear. Conceptually, yeah, polar bears are awesome. Like polar bears are like, they're savage. Like real polar bears are legit frightening, and coming up against one would be frightening. Coming up against one that stands, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, stands 20 feet tall would be positively frightening. Also 20 feet tall with a face that looks like, what does he look like? He actually looks like one of the Star Wars Cantina bad guys. That doesn't look like a polar bear face. I'm talking about that first panel. Second panel, a little more polar berry. So there's a polar bear. Now, is that polar bear also in Snake Eyes' head? I don't know. Do they make 20-foot tall polar bears? I'm going to guess no, they don't. But we don't know. We just know he now has to fight a polar bear that just walks on 2 legs.
Yo, Joe!
And I say that because I'm going to fast forward here just a touch. Never in this book is that polar bear drawn on 4 legs. So if it's not a polar bear, if it is some kind of demon bear, stealing one from Bill Sienkiewicz, then it's a demon bear. But if it is a demon bear, I mean, it steals everything else, so let's, whatever. So Snake Eyes now flies in the air to kick this demon bear in the face, and in doing so, he now looks even smaller than he did before. So this bear might be larger than 20 feet in the air, which of course Snake Eyes can easily jump. He's screaming. That's good. Again, Snake Eyes. Okay. So let's look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th panel on this page, guys. It's got the bear growling, and he's taking a swipe at Snake Eyes as he flies through the air. No background save the coloring, of course, because why would they? And the 1, 2, 3, the 4th panel, right? You guys look closely at that panel. What's about to happen in that panel? Snake Eyes is about to impale himself on his own sword. His sword is sticking up directly at Snake Eyes' face. How that's possible, I don't know. Because the sword should be going in towards the bear, which is what Snake Eyes is attacking, and yet that sword is pointed at Snake Eyes. I hope he's gonna be okay.
Yo, Joe!
He gets hit, Snake Eyes does, and the bear is kind enough to slash at Snake Eyes, but only enough to tear off his outer snow clothing and reveal a perfectly kept and untorn unshorn, undestroyed black costume beneath it. So once again, Snake Eyes reveals himself to be a never nude and wears two costumes underneath in case one of them gets shredded. What is the point of drawing? What is the point of any of this? What is the point of having him wear two costumes? Just keep him in the white costume. You want to give him a variant costume. It's fun. It's a variant costume. I got no problem with that. You don't need to have it delicately torn by a 20-foot polar bear to then get a picture of Snake Eyes in normal clothing. What is the point of this?
Yo, Joe!
So now Snake Eyes hits the midsection of the standing bear, and he goes for his throat, apparently slicing his throat, and he kills the demon bear. So, I mean, this demon bear who never actually stands on all fours, who just stands like a giant monster, it is definitely some kind of spiritual apparition. It's a test for Snake Eyes, for sure. What it signifies, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you anything about it. But you do hear laughter, and there's lightning and laughter after Snake Eyes murders this 20-foot tall demon bear.
Yo, Joe!
And now we get to meet Thor. Okay.
Yo, Joe!
So Thor reaches up and he strikes the ice that Snake Eyes is standing on, and Snake Eyes, because it's just like Excalibur, Mjolnir lives in a lake, and Snake Eyes goes to the bottom of the frozen lake, and there's Mjolnir sitting at the bottom of the lake because Excalibur, and that's the only myth anyone can ever think of.
Yo, Joe!
Snake Eyes grabs it, and he swims, and he breaks through the ice, and he's holding Mjolnir. I'm assuming they're calling it Mjolnir. And he holds it, and he climbs to the top. And nope! Someone's waiting for him. What? Shocker.
Yo, Joe!
It's Kirigan and Olympia. Kirigan in a different set of fancy duds, presumably jacked up by the Death Sword, which that Death Sword, come on, man. It looks exactly like every other sword. Poorly drawn, but exactly like every other sword. Can we at least make the Death Sword ornate so it's identifiable as the Death Sword? And because there's no storytelling in the graphics, we need to have more exposition here. And wondering how we found you, and then Olympia, fill him in. Tell him what he's won. And your friend General Colton, he and his little adventure team, they've been chasing mythical artifacts for more than half a century. So of course they would know the location of the only weapon on Earth of any use against the Dead Sword. You volunteered to recover it. We followed. Checkmate, Snake Eyes. So because the story gives no reason for them to follow, we need exposition to fill us in on the background of what Joe Colton's adventure team does. And apparently Joe Colton's adventure team knows where Mjolnir is. And they're cool. They're just, they know where it is. They're going to get it. And so then these guys just follow them because why not? Okay. That's okay.
Yo, Joe!
And Snake Eyes, now, we don't know what happened to Scarlet. We don't know what happened to Storm Shadow. His best friend and his lover, not in that order. But we don't know what happened to those two. So they're not here to help. Snake Eyes is on his own again. He just fell through this ice water. He's going to hit him. But no, he once again gets beaten by Kirigan. Because now here's the thing. Kirigan's now more powerful because he has the Dead Sword. And even now he's got Mjolnir. So now he's super powerful, right? Oh, no, wait, no.
Yo, Joe!
He got shot, and that apparently stopped him. Now, I don't know if he's dead, but it stopped him because, according to the Baroness, tales of Kurgan's invulnerability were greatly exaggerated, because that's a quote we haven't murdered into the ground. Would you not agree, Destro? Destro with a patented Liefeld creepy face. Merely rumors, my dear Baroness, perpetrated by lesser men lacking the right weapons for the job. So, do you remember in the previous issues how Snake Eyes shot Kurgan and Scarlet shot Kurgan? Even, if memory serves, Storm Shadow shot Kurgan. Apparently, their bullets didn't do anything. You needed a special weapon that only Destro and the Baroness could provide. Now, if you're wondering where did they come from, that would be a good question, because so far, Cobra has had nothing to do in this series. Cobra was non-existent. I agree, Shirley. But yet again, we have a last-minute addition to the story. So if everything plays out as it normally will, I'm assuming that the Baroness and Destro will be knocked out of commission by about page 3 of issue 5. So they showed up. They apparently were able to accomplish what no other gun in 4 issues of this series has been able to accomplish. And but I look forward to them getting dispatched within 2 pages for no real good reason in issue 5. So next month is the game over. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's de rigueur to, it's popular to slam Rob's work, but this series is painful, guys. And I know it's a comic book. There's a lot of other worse things in the world, but every issue is the same. Every issue gets worse and worse. There's no continuity. There's no attention to detail. There's no story being told. None of this matters. None of this has any personal stakes to Snake Eyes. Characters come and go for absolutely no reason. There's no backgrounds. There's no sense of grounding. There's no story. There's no narrative being told through the action. All the pages seem like they were drawn months apart from each other, and with no consideration for what the action was leading up to it. And I can't with this. I can't with this. And IDW, if you think this is a successful miniseries, I hope someone's listening, because it's not. It may sell. You guys may make money on it. God bless you for doing it. This is not a successful miniseries. This is not a good story. This is not what G.I. Joe fans deserve. And in a marketplace of limited G.I. Joe product, that's what's tough about this. If this was Wolverine and this was the 50th Wolverine miniseries this year, I don't care. I wouldn't care. Whatever. You don't like this series, move on. The problem is G.I. Joe struggles to get comic books out about it. And when one of them, about universally our favorite guy, is this, it's just depressing. It's absolutely depressing. So, hey guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you listeners. And I know it's easy to critique. It's harder to create. So I understand that. So, they got it done, and kudos. And like I said, there's the coloring saves this. The dialogue is the only thing keeping it coherent. And I genuinely mean that. The coloring is great, actually. The coloring really is nice. It really provides depth and placement for the action. Whew. But now you Joe. And Joeing is half the battle.